Maya had always believed in the idea of eternal love. When she married Ryan, her heart was full of hope. Their wedding was beautiful, an elegant affair wrapped in gold and laughter, with everyone whispering that they were the perfect couple. For a while, maybe they were. But as the years passed, the warmth in their relationship grew colder, like a winter that quietly crept into every corner of their home. Ryan changed. He became withdrawn, barely speaking to her unless necessary. He was always busy, always in meetings, traveling, making deals, growing his empire. And Maya, left in a house that echoed with loneliness, tried everything to reignite their connection. But her efforts went unnoticed. He never raised his hand, never shouted. But his silence screamed louder than any argument ever could. He had stopped seeing her, not as a woman, not as a partner, not even as a person. It was during one of those long, quiet mornings that she first noticed Aman, the man who had moved into the house next door. He was different. He smiled when he saw her. He spoke softly, but with meaning. And slowly, day by day, Maya found herself drawn to him, not in a dramatic, romantic way at first, but in the way someone clings to the only warmth in a cold room. They began with small talks over the fence, then coffee, then longer conversations. Aman listened to her in ways Ryan never had. He asked her how she felt, not what she had cooked. For the first time in years, Maya felt seen, and perhaps, just perhaps, she started seeing herself again too. Then one night, after a cruel, dismissive comment from Ryan during dinner, Maya stood up, walked out, and never looked back. She went straight to Aman's house, where he opened the door with concern in his eyes but no questions on his lips. That night, Maya cried like she hadn't in years, and for the first time, in someone else's arms. What followed shocked the neighborhood. Maya and Aman had a court marriage within weeks. People gossiped. Her relatives were outraged. But Maya? She was calm. Almost too calm, because no one knew the full story. Not even Aman. You see, Aman wasn't just a kind stranger. He had a secret. When Aman first moved in, he wasn't there by coincidence. He was a private investigator, hired by none other than Ryan himself. Ryan had grown suspicious of Maya. He thought she was cheating, and instead of confronting her, he wanted proof. He wanted to control the narrative, to ruin her before she could ever leave him. So he hired Aman to watch her, to get close to her. But the unexpected happened. Aman fell in love. He stopped reporting to Ryan. He stopped the investigation, but he never told Maya the truth. And Maya? She wasn't a fool. She noticed strange things. A photo that had been taken without her knowing. A file left open on Aman's laptop. A feeling in her gut. She found the truth. And instead of walking away, she did something extraordinary. She stayed. Why? Because she wasn't done yet. Maya decided to flip the game entirely. If Ryan had wanted a show, she would give him one. She went ahead with the court marriage, knowing it would scandalize him, knowing it would strip away his pride. The woman he had emotionally abandoned had now married the very man he paid to destroy her. Ryan went wild with rage. He tried everything to ruin Aman, accusing him of fraud, filing complaints, dragging Maya through legal battles. But nothing stuck. Maya had carefully documented every step, every message, every transfer Ryan had made to Aman during the early days of the investigation. She had protected herself long before anyone knew a war was coming. But the twist didn't end there, because while Maya was learning how to rebuild her life, she made another discovery. Ryan had been cheating on her. Long before she ever met Aman, multiple business trips were actually rendezvous with a woman in Dubai. He had even bought her a flat there. Maya wasn't the betrayer, she was the betrayed. And Aman? He waited. After the court marriage, Maya and Aman didn't live like lovers. They shared a home, but not a bed. He gave her space. He earned back her trust, inch by inch, never rushing, never pushing. For months, they lived in a quiet companionship, rebuilding the foundation that had started with lies, but had somehow grown into something real. Then came the final twist. One evening, Maya received a letter. It had no name, no address, just one sentence. He never stopped watching you. Ryan had planted hidden cameras in her old house and in Aman's too. The court marriage hadn't just bruised his ego, it had turned into obsession. Maya realized she had underestimated just how far Ryan would go to feel in control again. But Maya was no longer the quiet wife in the corner. She contacted the cybercrime unit exposed Ryan publicly, and turned his empire into scandal. The man who once controlled everything now had nowhere to hide. His shares dropped, his reputation shattered. And Maya? She smiled, because after all the manipulation, the spying, the heartbreak, she had survived. Not only survived, but transformed. And one morning, nearly a year later, she stood in the garden once again. Aman was trimming the same roses, quiet as ever, gentle as always. He looked up at her, waiting, not expecting, and for the first time, Maya walked up, took his hand, and said, "It's time. Let's start for real this time." They didn't throw a big wedding, just close friends, a simple vow, and two people who had been through war and came out kinder, not colder. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was better, because it was real. And finally, it was happy. Let me know if you'd like an audiobook version or a cinematic script adaptation of this.